It started, as many things in the world of celebrities do, not with a loud announcement, but with a whisper, a quiet rumor, a subtle glance caught in a photo, a moment on camera that didn't look scripted, even if it was supposed to be. Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun have been in the spotlight before. Individually, as actors whose names carry weight across Asia and beyond. But when the two share the same frame, something changes. The air feels different. And recently, their interactions have gone from professional to something else. Fans first noticed it during a seemingly ordinary public event. They were not sitting too close, not touching, not even speaking much. But their eyes kept finding each other. Not in the exaggerated way actors sometimes do for the cameras, but in fleeting moments that looked almost stolen. Moments that felt like they belonged to them, not to the flashing lights or the shouting paparazzi. From that day on, the whispers began to grow. Social media filled with slowed-down clips of them together, fans dissecting every look, every micro-expression, every small smile. People claimed they could feel something unspoken between them. And in the world of celebrity fandom, unspoken often becomes the loudest story of all. What made this speculation different was the lack of denial. Neither Lee Min-ho nor Kim Go-eun made any strong effort to shut down the rumors. They didn't feed them, but they didn't starve them either. Instead, they seemed to live in a space in between, a space where they carried on with their schedules, their projects, their public lives, while quietly allowing fans to wonder. This in-between space has a strange power. It makes people look closer. It makes them imagine. And imagination, especially when it comes to love stories, can be unstoppable. Every new sighting, every joint appearance, every accidental matching outfit became part of the narrative. A photo of them arriving at the same event, minutes apart, sparked long threads online debating whether they had come together, but chosen to walk in separately. A candid shot of Lee Min-ho holding an umbrella and Kim Go-eun standing just under the edge of it was enough to trend for hours. But the most telling thing wasn't what they did in public. It was how they seemed to orbit each other even when they weren't trying to. You could place them in a crowded room, and somehow, their attention would still drift toward one another. It wasn't loud. It wasn't showy. It was quiet, almost private, except for the millions of eyes watching. And perhaps that's what made fans so invested. This wasn't a whirlwind romance plastered across headlines. It wasn't dramatic, scandalous, or obvious. It was the kind of connection people dream of, subtle, steady, and strong enough to exist even without words. Then came the now famous behind-the-scenes clip. They were filming separately, working on unrelated projects. Yet a staff member captured a brief interaction when their paths crossed. Lee Min-ho greeted her with a smile so small it could have gone unnoticed. Except it didn't. Kim Go-eun's eyes softened instantly, and in that fleeting exchange, fans saw something they could not unsee. A moment that felt entirely unscripted, impossibly genuine. From that point on, quiet romance became the phrase attached to them. Online communities dedicated to the pair grew larger, sharing theories, old interviews, and any possible clue. Some even went as far as comparing past relationships, pointing out how differently they behaved around each other. Yet, the more people speculated, the more Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun seemed to lean into their own rhythm. They didn't speed up. They didn't rush to define things publicly. They simply continued existing in the same quiet way. Enough to be seen, but never enough to be fully claimed by the media. It's not easy to keep something private in an industry built on exposure. Every step outside comes with the risk of being photographed. Every smile can be interpreted, every gesture turned into a headline. And yet, here they were, managing to give so little away while giving just enough to keep the world intrigued. Perhaps that's why fans describe their story as a slow burn. It's not about grand declarations or sudden surprises. It's about a consistent presence. The way Lee Min-ho will instinctively step slightly aside so Kim Go-eun can walk ahead in a crowd. The way she seems to relax when he's nearby, her posture shifting in a way that speaks of comfort, not performance. In many ways, their quiet romance feels almost rebellious. In a culture where celebrity dating news can cause a frenzy, where agencies sometimes step in to control personal relationships, choosing to keep things slow and silent is its own kind of statement. It says, this is ours, not yours. It says, we will share what we want when we want. Of course, not everyone takes it the same way. Some fans wish they would confirm their relationship. Others prefer the mystery, believing it makes their bond more special. And there are those who remain skeptical, thinking perhaps it's all coincidental, a beautiful illusion created by wishful thinking and clever camera angles. But love, real or imagined, has always had a way of capturing people's hearts. And with Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun, the pull is undeniable. It's in the soft laughter during interviews. It's in the way they seem to understand each other's pauses. It's in the unshakable impression that they are part of each other's story, whether they admit it or not. As weeks turned into months, the frenzy around them didn't fade, it grew. Fan accounts began compiling evidence, tracking everything from jewelry choices to background details in photos. When Kim Go-eun posted a picture with a particular scenery in the background, it wasn't long before someone pointed out that Lee Min-ho had been spotted in the same area weeks earlier. Coincidence? Maybe. But in the eyes of their supporters, nothing was just coincidence anymore. The fascination became less about if they were together and more about how they were making it work so quietly. In an age of oversharing, where relationships are often documented in real time for millions to see, there's felt like an echo from another era, one where love could exist in the spaces between the noise. That's why, when they appeared together again at a private industry gathering, the internet lit up once more. They weren't photographed holding hands or whispering in a corner, but they arrived within minutes of each other. They left in the same direction, and in the few images that did emerge, the expressions on their faces spoke more than words ever could. For fans, it was enough. Enough to keep believing. Enough to keep watching. Because sometimes, the most powerful romances aren't the ones shouted from rooftops. They're the ones that linger quietly, weaving themselves into the fabric of everyday moments. And if Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun are indeed sharing such a romance, then maybe it's not just the frenzy that matters. Maybe it's the fact that in a world determined to watch them, they've found a way to still look only at each other. So the story continues. In glances, in pauses, in the spaces between sentences. In matching colors, shared smiles, and the unspoken comfort of knowing someone is on your side. Whether they choose to confirm it or not, fans have already decided. This is a love worth rooting for. Quiet, steady, and somehow louder than any headline could ever make it. And as the days turned into weeks, the quiet nature of their connection became a talking point on its own. Fans were used to celebrity couples who, when caught, either denied everything or flaunted it without hesitation. But Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun seemed to exist in a completely different space. A space where words weren't necessary, where every glance, every small gesture, told more than any public statement could. It wasn't the kind of love story that screamed for attention. It didn't need to. Instead, it thrived in the pauses, in the unseen moments, in the careful way they seemed